Look at that. You're a pro at
Courtney was right there.
So one of the questions that I had was kind of like what stood out to you all about God's promise in the new covenant, but also kind of what stood out to you in this chapter. And kind of what I had that stood out to me was like God doesn't give up on his people. Even in the midst of like failures or disobedient, he still is faithful. He still tries to redeem us. He still tries to forgive us for the things that we have done. And just showing us, hey, you did this, you can kind of restore yourself. Just come to me and I can help you out in a sense. So that's kind of what I thought stood out in that chapter to me.
Yeah. In 31, chapter 31 specifically, I wrote down at least what stood out for me, the prophecy of the return of Israel and Judah, and also stating, the need for punishment because they've become so wayward.
Mm-hmm.
But again, to your point, God ultimately wants to see us succeed and see them succeed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yes, I'm punishing you now, but again, Israel and Judah will prosper. Sorry, my dog's trying to eat my food. But yeah, just it's almost like, our parents, like when they were, chastising us or,
mm-hmm.
Punishing us, it was out of love and out of correction and a need for correction. But still at the end of the day, wanting us to do well. And it just brings to mind how infinite his mercies are.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, because he could easily just write us off. And like,
yeah, like, all right, this is what you did. I'm done with you.
And the crazy thing is, like, he sees and knows all. So he knows when we're going to sin again, but yet continues to offer that forgiveness and offer that that chance for salvation. So.
And I think we kind of see that going into 32 and especially in 33 and 34, especially with I don't know how to pronounce the guy's name, but Zedekiah, where he still punishes him. Like you said, punishment, we're still punished. He still punished him, but he kind of lessened his punishment in a sense. Like, okay, instead of you dying this way, I'm going to give you a peaceful death. So I'm like, I thought that was pretty good. I'm like, okay, well, God's being lenient on you, even though you were being unruly, he's still going to allow you to have a peaceful death. I'm like, who doesn't want a peaceful death?
Right.
Malika, what stood out to you?
A couple of things. I wrote for verses, what verse is that? 1 through 4. I put as long as you have God as your one and only true God, you will be one of his people. As long as he's the center of the people's life, then he will help them and fulfill the promise he made for his people and their ancestors, and he doesn't break promises. And I put, why did I put that? I put favor in the wilderness, even in distress and downfall, because God is with you and you'll have favor and love from God.
That was in the 31.
Mm-hmm. And then I also did 28 and 29 through 30. Or 29 through 30, I put everyone is responsible for their own salvation, parents and children alike. You can lead people to want salvation or know of it, but the action of seeking God is all on them. And that stood out to me because today I listened to that sermon from Jerry Flowers that Walter sent us.
Oh, yeah, Jerry Flowers has some good sermons.
Yeah, it's really good. But he did say that in a portion of the sermon, like, wait, or am I getting things mixed up? Because I listened to 2 sermons today.
Got you mixing up both sermons.
Okay, I got them mixed up. Sorry. It was the 28:19 one. It was entry and end times, and because he was reading about the virgins, the 10 virgins, and how there are 5 wise and 5 I don't want to call them. What do you call them? I don't know. 5 wise and 5 unprepared, basically. And
no,
he was,
we're all learning, so it's all right.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So he was talking about that, and he was basically during a portion of it. I did a Bible study with my church. They had a outreach thing, and we did a Zoom call, and we went over that same scripture. And basically, the basis of it is every person is responsible for their own salvation, because when the ones that were unprepared, they asked the ones who were prepared and had extra oil, they were like, hey, can we have some of your oil? And they were like, no, you can't. Like, if we give you our oil, we won't have enough.
Yeah.
And basically he brought it back around to where you can't give your oil away. You have to be prepared. So they didn't prepare. It's kind of like salvation. Like, you can't save somebody else. The prayers of your mothers and your fathers
Yeah.
won't save you. It's you on you, your relationship with God, how you prepare to be there. Are you going to prepare, or are you going to be the one asking, like, oh, let me in after the doors have already closed?
Yeah.
So
You
yeah,
kind
so
of
that's
touched
why that's
on,
the
you did kind of
thing.
touch on one of my points when I was, and I'm jumping ahead, but when I was reading, um, 33, that's the chapter where he kind of unfolds like the restoration. And what I wrote down was, a loss or rejection or failure doesn't mean God's plan has failed. It's just a moment where he's basically either healing you, guiding you, or opening up new doors for better opportunities. So it kind of touched on your thing with like being prepared. Like, he's not going to take you to the next level if he knows that you're not ready for the next level. So it's like he's basically preparing you. So he may have you in a season where, all right, I need you to heal from this, or he may have you in a season where I need you to actually trust me and learn in that. So that's kind of what I got out of that chapter. So I'm glad that you mentioned the oil thing. And then let's see, what chapter we go? I guess we're going to chapter 32 since that done jumped us ahead. Let's see. Oh, 32 was about the purchasing of the land, which I was like, why Jeremiah out here purchasing land if he's supposed to be in prison? And I was kind of confused in that chapter, but with the purchasing of the land, I guess that kind of showed Jeremiah, you see Jeremiah showing his faithfulness and his trust to God by purchasing the land. And kind of him just being obedient. And then it kind of reminded me of like being in a sense of like nothing is too hard for God as well. So that's kind of what I got out of reading a couple of those verses in that chapter.
That's what I have too. I think much to what you were saying, and not to beat a point through, but it just shows faith. Because like you were saying, why would you buy this land and y'all are about to be exiled? But if there's going to be a restoration and you have faith in that restoration, then why not? So
which probably was the reason why these chapters was hitting on me this week. Because I'm like, all right, I don't know what you're trying to tell me, God, but okay, I see you. Between 33 and 34, it kind of really hit home. I think I had another question. Let me see. Well, I kind of answered it because basically it says why do you think God asked Jeremiah to buy the land? Or why did Jeremiah move forward with purchasing the land? And basically it was just like God was letting him know, like, yeah, you guys are going to be exiled, but I'm going to restore. So that's kind of answered the question there. And then kind of the next question was like, how does Jeremiah act on like his faith and being challenged by God in a sense? And then what's the other one that I have? Oh no, the next question would be for 33. I don't know. Y'all got anything else? I don't want to move too much ahead.
32, I knew there was significance on why he said there was. On verse 9, he said, they will come with weeping. They will pray as I bring them back. I will lead them beside the streams of water in the level path where they will not stumble, because I am Israel's father and Ephraim is my firstborn son. And I was kind of wondering, like, what's the significance of like a firstborn son? Because I knew there was one, but I just kind of didn't know like how deep it went. And so when I looked it up, it said the firstborn son is the very first male child born to a mother or father establishing their position in birth order, historically and culturally, especially in patriarchal, I don't know if I'm saying that right, societies, the firstborn son often held a special significant status, receiving greater inheritance, authority, and responsibility within the family, often receiving a larger inheritance in the head of the family's role. And that kind of just established that he was saying, you guys are the pinnacle. You are the first one that everyone's looking at, that, you know, you're the basis. Everyone's looking up to you because you're kind of the ones I need everyone to look up to. You're the head of the household. Like, I don't know. How'd you say that?
I was kind of confused in that piece as well. I think I kind of skimmed over that part because I'm like, I don't really understand this.
Yeah, I skimmed over it too, but I was like,
Sometimes when I'm reading, I have to ask my mom sometimes to kind of break it down. Like, I don't know what this means. Can you like break this down so I can understand it?
Yeah.
You guys are not alone.
I just Googled the significance of your firstborn. I felt like it was something that I needed to know. But
and that was, repeat that one verse for me again. That was in 32.
That was Jeremiah. Oh, sorry, I lied. Wait, was that in 32?
Or 33?
I will say,
Psych, never mind. That was in 31.
Oh,
And we're on 32.
oh, but that's okay.
One portion.
I'm glad
Okay.
that you did point that out, Malika, because a lot of times, especially in the time of day, having a firstborn son, like you said, with inheritance, that was really important. And it was like considered like the most horrible thing in the world if you didn't have a boy. And the idea was that your son would carry your name, your lineage, your, like your whole family. So a lot of people, you'll see them in the Bible, they'll be like somebody's son of this person, or, house of this person, because your family name and your lineage is what carried your family, and that's what people knew you by, and your reputation. And some of that we still see come through today in other cultures. And, people start developing their names, like, in the Indian culture, if you're a Patel, we see a lot of Indians with Patel, right? But we learned that Patel has more to do with your career than in your where you are in the caste system. It's like a learned person, and tells you your level of importance, right? So even now we still use it. Sometimes they'll be like, "Oh, where's your family from?" I'll be like, "Oh, I'm a Stokes from Snowden." "Oh, you a Stokes? Oh, the Stokes men were this and that." Like your family name meant something.
And I think that's also a way, at least in 31:9, I think that's a way of God saying to his people, no matter how bad things get, I'm still going to remember the covenant that I made with your forefathers. I'm still going to honor it. You might feel as though I'm beating you down and neglecting you or punishing you beyond measure, but at the end of the day, you are still my chosen people, no matter what comes. And I think that's just a reinforcement of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, even like, because I highlighted in 13 where it says, I will turn their mourning into joy and give them consolation and bring happiness out of grief. So even though they're grieving, it's like he's still promising them the joy, the peace, and the happiness. And even when you go deeper, where he's talking to Rachel, where she's crying over her children, that really hit home for me, because it's like, it's not like he wasn't acknowledging her weeping. He acknowledged it, but he's like, hey, stop crying. I've already told you that I'm gonna restore them. They're gonna be okay. And it just kind of reassured her that everything's gonna be okay. he just told her like how basically what I got out of that, what I was asking is like, how long are you going to continue to cry over these children if God is telling you this is what's going to happen?
Right.
And it kind of shook me up a little bit because it's like, dang, I am a weeping Wanda sometimes. So I'm like, how many times am I going to cry over this situation knowing that God already promised me more than I can ever think or imagine? And then it kind of brought me back to a sermon that I watched, which was the Jerry Flowers sermon where he talked about weeping again. And he was like, I can't remember the name of the sermon, but he talked about like weeping and like, how long are you going to cry about this situation? And was like, boo, boo, are you going to pull yourself out of this? And I'm just like, oh, okay. Kind of touched on 31 a little bit. So God is definitely a forgiving and faithful God, I'm seeing.
Mm-hmm.
I will say though, like sometimes when I do see some things in the Bible, particularly things when it comes to women's feelings and things like weeping over your children or stuff like that, sometimes I be looking like, now is this really how God felt, or did the men who rewrote this Bible decide that these women feelings didn't matter? I often wonder that because back then men were the ones doing the writing, and for a woman losing a child, that's no small feat. So I wonder sometimes, like I'd be like, I need to see the original Hebrew, and I need somebody to come teach me some Hebrew so I can know what I'm
And
reading.
that was my thought. I'm like, is God telling her not to cry over her children? But why she can't cry over her children? And then as I kind of continued into reading, he's like, your reward will come. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I guess the fruits of her labor will come out of this from her crying. So,
Or maybe the sacrifice,
yeah.
I don't know, but we see that. I feel like I see that a lot, but the way these men be real emotional in this Bible, I'd be like, you couldn't even not strike a rock. Like that's a whole rock. You couldn't contain yourself. Really, sir? Come on, Moses.
Angry.
That's all I be saying. I'd be like, what? And y'all mad at these women for what? No words. I'm glad we having a girls' night. Be honest with y'all.
I know, it's so peaceful. I do have y'all a question for y'all and y'all thoughts about like the lineage when he's talking to David about the covenant. Like, how did y'all kind of break that down? Because I was kind of confused. Because I'm like, okay, so this is the new covenant. What was the old covenant? Maybe I need to kind of look for because you know how the Bible cross references. Maybe I need to go back and look and see what the old covenant was.
The covenant with David.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody
I'm about
do
to
the
look right now.
research, but I think God had told David that his descendants would always be on the throne, or some before the schism, before the break, Israel and Judah.
Okay.
I think, but double check that.
Okay.
Which verse is it?
So what part are you talking about?
It starts at verse 14 in Jeremiah 33, and then it kind of goes a little bit more in depth, I think, in 34.
You said verse 14.
But I think where I got confused was when he was using the analogy where he was comparing it to day and night, and I'm like, all right, I don't really understand what's going on here.
And Janine, you said you think it was the covenant.
I think the covenant with David was that somebody would always, from his line, be on the throne, and be on the throne of Judah, if I'm not mistaken, because I think David's line is the Judean line, Judah, and then Israel broke away, and then Israel had its own king. I think. Double.
It says, "But thus saith the Lord."
It's in 7. I think I found it in verse 17.
Yep.
Which it is right. You did word it right. I think where I got confused is where it started talking about the Levitical priests. I'm like, okay, so what do they have to do with this covenant? So when he brought in another group, I'm like, all right, I'm getting confused. I think that's where the lineage piece was that I got confused.
Yeah, I think he was saying like this was the covenant, for the Lord said that the house, a house of David should never want. A man should sit upon the throne of the house of Israel. And then he says, neither shall the priests of the Levites want a man before me to offer burnt offerings and to kindle meat offerings and to do sacrifice continually. So yeah, that's what I think. I think it seems like he was like making reference to the original one, like what Janine was saying, and then he was saying, okay, so now, you know, the Levites, however you say it.
Levites, I think that's right.
Yeah,
I
Levites. In
think
my
so too,
Bible,
but
it says Leviticals, but maybe I'm gonna put Levites so it doesn't confuse me.
I'm with you, girl, because the way this American English, I was like, that should be a long I.
It's me. What is Levitical?
And then it says, thus saith the Lord, if ye can break my covenant of the day and my covenant of the night. See, we gotta look up those Levite priests. Let's see. Let's see what them is.
Let's see. Aren't we thankful for the girls' night? Because we can look up stuff while we're on a study. 'Cause this is ladies' night. Really? It's so silly.
I am so done. Not the ladies' night.
I love that for us.
I do too. And Walter said I wasn't going to speak. I won't speak.
Oh, he did text that?
You didn't hear him?
No, I didn't hear it.
He was like, it's okay, I got Malika. And he was like, she don't speak.
Oh, Lord. Don't let Walter beat you up.
It's okay.
I don't know. You be quiet sometimes, but you've been speaking up lately.
Yeah, I tried.
Why can't I spell?
What are you trying to spell? Levitical?
She's supposed she was looking up the priest.
Oh.
Okay, let's see.
It says it. Well, this is what I don't know if it's right, but I mean, I'm assuming if it's on the internet. But it says a Levitical priest was an Israelite priest from the tribe of Levi, descended from Aaron, who served in ancient Israel's tabernacle and temple, by offering sacrifice and performing other sacred duties to meditate between God and the people.
Yeah, so want a man before me to offer burnt. What is y'all's versions? What version of the Bible y'all in? Let me switch my version.
I have. Is this a New International Version?
Yeah.
I got the Christian Standard Version.
What does y'all's version say for verse 18? Chapter 33, verse 18.
Let's see. Verse 18. Nor will the Levitical priests ever fail to have a man to stand before me continually to offer burnt offerings, to burn grain offerings, and to present sacrifices. So remember, the Levite tribe was the tribe of priests.
Okay.
So I think he's also saying, I'm also going to keep and cover the Levites because they have a special distinction amongst the 12 tribes of Israel.
Okay. Jenny, you sure you ain't want to leave Bible study?
Nope, no ma'am. No, I'm kidding. I will at some point. If you guys ask,
you answering our questions.
Yeah, and I think what you were saying about the lineage, we should, because we always be like, oh, out of the house of David. Well, I think it's important to establish, and I think I had sent something in the Reach group one time. It was a video. This lady broke down everybody's descendants and how they got to, the names and having the names of Levi, and we're, going all the way back up to Levi. So yeah. Okay.
But you know what I will say has really helped with buying a Bible that I understand. So
That's
I've
why I
been
had to
reading,
ask you to read
yeah,
yours.
I've been reading this Bible almost kind of like cover to cover, in the order that it's presented. And I know it's not chronologically correct, but it's definitely helped my understanding of the Bible. Like right now I'm in First Chronicles, but it's definitely helped.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I got two versions. I got the study Bible, which is the ESV version, and then I have the Christian Standard Bible. So I got two different ones. But I also cross-reference with my Bible app as well. So that way I can kind of see the other versions.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
I'm still reading down here where it says, after it says, thus saith the Lord, if you break my covenant by day and night, there should be not be day and not night in their season. Then it says, then may also my covenant be broken with David my servant, that he shall not have a son to reign upon the throne with the Levites, the priests, my ministers. As the host of heaven cannot be numbered, neither the sands of the sea measured. So I will multiply the seed of David, my servant, and the Levites that minister unto me. Moreover, the word of the Lord came to Jeremiah, saying, consider it thou not what this people have spoken, saying, the two families which the Lord hath chosen, he has even cast them off. Thus they have. Now see, why are we using these words I can't pronounce? Let me see what this word means. Cross-reference. Thou makest with reproach. Okay. Is that supposed to be despised? Because why that look funny? Despise my people, that they should be no more a nation before them. Thus saith the Lord, if my covenant be not with day and night, I have not appointed the ordinance of heaven and earth. Then will I cast away the seed of Jacob and David my servant, so that I will not take any of the seeds to be rulers over the seeds of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Oh, Father, yes. For I will cause their captivity to return and have mercy on them. Ooh, that was a little shook right there. Ooh, give me a little, made me be kind of like, ooh, a little shoulder. Father.
Little
Okay.
dip.
Exactly right, little Lord. Anywho, sorry.
No, you good. And then, all right, now we're in like chapter 34. Chapter 34. What can I say about that chapter? I guess it was the whole thing of y'all made this covenant with God, and then you turn around and break it.
Yeah.
I don't understand. So one of
Listen,
my
let them be great now. Let them be great. No, I'm just kidding.
so one of my questions was like, why do you think the people broke their covenant by freeing the Hebrew slaves? Like, why would they do that?
I thought about
People
Exodus.
gonna be people.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty much.
It's like homage to Exodus, I think. Because I know when I first read Exodus and they were saying how he hardened Pharaoh's heart. Pharaoh, you realize you can't, okay, how do I say this? Pharaoh was like, who's gonna do their job now? We gotta do it. We don't want to do that.
Right.
And so we just freed all these people and now we gotta do their work. I need them back. I don't want to do that. That's what I thought about. So I don't know entirely if that's why, but that's kind of what I thought about. Like they kind of just like kind of regretted not having that help, not having that labor. It makes them work harder.
Makes sense. And then kind of like reading into it, like, what did it kind of teach y'all about the seriousness of making the covenant? Because I'm like, they made this covenant, and I don't know if it affected King. I guess I'm hoping I'm saying his name right. Zedekiah. I don't know if it affected his outcome with his death or not. But I was just like, dang, what if it did affect his death by them just breaking this covenant, this promise that they made to God? I don't know. That's just like my thoughts that ran through my head when I was reading it. Like,
I mean, why would his
I'm making
death
you think.
be affected
Maybe
by
I got ahead of myself, but I just thought maybe they kind of affected his death in a sense. But then again, I guess it's just how it's where we're talking about God's being just and mercy. Either way, he was gonna probably allow him to die a peaceful death. But
I think it's kind of like, I think he said on salvation, if Zedekiah did in order the people to take their slaves back, I don't see why that would entirely affect why the works of the people would affect Zedekiah and what God already told. That is something to think about. That is
kind of like our actions affect other people in a sense, which sometimes, depending on the situation, it can. But
that's true. That's true. I see where you're going with that. That's something to look into.
And then let's see what I have for 35.
Now I need to look these people up because I feel like the Rechabites came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I feel you on that one.
Like,
but 35?
Are they a tribe? Like,
I'm trying to like. No, that was the first time he referenced it. But I wonder if no, it's not Rama. Because Rama and then that one was, I'm like, all right, so where are these other people coming from?
Right. That's what I'm like, who are these people?
Who are you?
Who are you? Why are you here? Trying to make sure I didn't miss nothing.
I did find it interesting though when he bought them up, because I think he just bought them up to prove his point. And I was thinking about this when I was rereading it. That's in 35. But he was basically saying how like the Rechabites, their people, they kept following the commands to not drink wine, and it's been kept like over and over again throughout generations. And that's basically what God wanted Israel to do with keeping him as their only God, but yet his people kept breaking the covenant. But the Rechabites could keep the command of not to drink wine. So I put in my notes, do you respect God enough to obey? People of other religions and beliefs take their God so serious and follow every command that their God gives them. So why do we think that it's okay to be lenient with the commands of our God? Is it because our God loves, but does that mean we can run over him? No. And God has respect for the descendants of the Rechabites, or the descendants of Rechab, because they have followed the commands generationally. They displayed that of what God asks of us is not too much, and we just don't. What did I put? They displayed what God asks of us is. They displayed that what God asks of us is not too much to ask, or too much, and we just don't do it. If we wanted to, we would, kind of mindset. If you love and respect God as much as you say you do, then you would want to do what you can to please him as God the Father, God the Savior, God your shepherd. You wouldn't commit sins that you knew would hurt him, and you wouldn't risk your relationship with him for a temporary relationship with something else. I only
So
put
did
that
I hear
because
Malika just say that she teaching the next Bible study?
I
That part.
did not say that.
That's what I heard her say. Come through, preacher. Go ahead.
Because I read it, and the first thing I kind of thought about was how everyone, when they're giving relationship advice and they're talking about like, oh, because I think I saw something where it was like, the most recent one I saw was the lady, she was running a marathon, and her boyfriend or husband or somebody was supposed to have her snacks for her and meet her at certain markers to give her snacks for a marathon.
Mm-hmm.
So she can refuel. And he's a marathon runner too, so he knows like, what goes into it. And throughout the marathon, I think she got to the first marker. She's like, "Oh, I need my snacks," and he's like, "I ate them all." You ate all her snacks for her marathon? And she's like, "But I need my snacks." He's like, "Oh, I ate them all." And a lot of people are like, "Yeah, he don't like you. Like something's off about that." And it just kind of made me think about like things like that, how a lot of people say like, "Oh, if he wanted to, he would. If he liked you enough, if he loved you enough, he would have done this or instead of doing that." And that's just kind of where I got that from. So like if your relationship with God is genuine and you genuinely do love him, you wouldn't risk it for something else, and especially how God kind of compares our relationship kind of like a marriage. So like we're the bride and he's the groom, and you wouldn't want to cheat on him with another god or something else because it would hurt him, and it's not something that is supposed to be in that covenant. That's just kind of how I looked at it.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder
Yeah,
if
I
that's
think
why
really good.
he decided to bring them about. Maybe he was just trying to compare them to the other group of people. He was basically showing them obedience and disobedience.
Yeah, it can be done. It's not something that's like super hard. I'm just asking you not to worship other gods. I'm asking you not to do these certain things. And there's a group of people out there who are doing that thing. And yeah, I kind of went through that kind of thing when I went through my breakup because I was just like, why didn't he do this or why can't he do that? But then I had a guy friend who just, who did it. He just did it because he's my friend. So he literally just did it. And I literally had the revelation while I was hanging out with my guy friend. I was like, wow, I wasn't asking for too much.
Yeah.
There are people out there capable of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just this person just didn't want to do it. And that's kind of, I think, the kind of revelation that God had. Like, there are people out there who can do it. And this is what I'm asking of you. So you can't say you can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe so
possible.
is that probably why he sent Jeremiah to ask them to drink the wine, because he knew good and well that they were going to stay faithful to their people. They weren't going to drink the wine, and because they stayed faithful, he's like, all right, they stayed faithful. Ain't nothing I can do about it.
Just to show you, like, it's possible. My people aren't doing it right now, but it's possible.
Because this me when I was reading it, I was like, oh Lord, he done sent Jeremiah to tell them to do something, and they ain't doing it. What's gonna happen? Is he gonna disrupt them too, like destroy their land? But the complete opposite happened. I guess in a sense, like I said, he was just trying to compare obedience to disobedience in that chapter.
All I know is the Lord better not send me and tell me not to drink no wine. Because I don't know if I'll be successful.
Wow. And you know what?
No.
Just for that, no.
Oh, I'm just kidding. But also too, I think too, and Malika was saying like, sometimes in relationships or whatever with people, I think it's more like, for me and my thought process is more like, well, you just have to love me. You just have to love the other person more. It's not so much like wanting to do it. It's just that my love for you is so much that I'm willing to do it. And so I think the same with God and sacrificing certain things is not that, it's that our love for him is so great. The same way his love for us was so great. He was willing to sacrifice. Jesus was willing to sacrifice himself. So I think it's kind of the perspective of, how much are we willing? Do we love ourselves more than we love Jesus and God? Do we love, and how do we show love? We always say God is love. Okay. That's a nice cliche. How we
Yeah,
gonna
makes sense. And then you also kind of see how they didn't compromise their values and their customs that, was traditional for them. They didn't compromise or break that because Jeremiah was like, all right, I need y'all to do this.
Mm.
So that's like kind of like in relationships when you're dating somebody and they try to get you to go try things outside of what you're used to, knowing good and well, like, all right, I'm a woman of God or a man of God, and this person has you doing stuff that you're now compromising your values, then it's like, what are you going to do in that situation? Are you going to obey God, or are you going to listen to this person telling you what to do? I don't know. I don't got anything else. We kind of skimmed through those chapters quick.
I think
lie?
sometimes when like the overall theme or subject matter is similar or similar amongst the different chapters, it makes for, I don't want to say like an easy read, because obviously there were certain things in here that were not necessarily easy to digest, but it's almost like you get the gist of what's being said. Because
Yeah.
it's like, okay, you're going to destroy Israel, you're going to destroy that, this is going to happen, but yet there's a theme amongst the chapters. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think that I agree with Janine. I know when we first was doing everything and trying to read, and it was like 10 chapters later, we talking about something, and I'm like, how did we get here? Like,
Yeah.
what? And I don't understand what's going on in all these verses. And then you end up like verse 15, and it's like, okay, so let me try to go back to verse 1. And then by the time I try to go back, I'll be like, oh, I got a text message. Like my mind in trying to stay with it all the way through
Yeah.
is very hard. But the way this section was, I think it was perfect.
Yeah,
And it's 8 o'clock right now.
yeah, these chapters, I think it was easier to kind of break it up by theme. Like in 33, I'm like, all right, this is the promise and restoration. And then when you get into 34, I wrote justice and mercy. So it kind of helped. It was easier for me to pinpoint, okay, this is going to be the focus point. Now, I don't know what's going to happen in these next couple of chapters, but we shall see.
Yes, yes, honey, yes.
I don't know. Did y'all have any other thoughts? Or did we cover everything?
I think we covered pretty much everything.
Hmm. I think we did.
We'll have to create a password for everybody to come into the next week's Bible study since they left us hanging. And they'll
Right.
have to figure out what the password is before they can get in.
You know what? You should put ReachUp and with an exclamation point at the end.
Right. One difference.
That way
would
they
make me
can't get
so
in and we'll
mad.
be like,
Oh my God.
what's the password to get into the girls' Bible study group?
Exactly. So what's the plan for next week? What are we gonna do?
I don't know. Since we don't have anybody else on this call, I guess what I can do is I can put out a poll in group. I think GroupMe allows you to put out a poll, so I can ask. But I have been seeing, since we have been reading Jeremiah, maybe a lot of people aren't interested in reading a full book. Maybe we should have asked them, hey, are you guys comfortable with reading a full book of the Bible? Because some people, they may be still starting out, maybe newbies, and they may not know how to dive in quickly. So I think that's one of the questions we might want to ask in the poll, is to sense where everybody is in their Bible study journey.
What if we do something fun, like maybe at a Bible study, have everybody bring a Bible study character that they feel like mirrors them?
Ooh, I like that idea. I think
Like,
Chantel had that idea for game night. One of the game nights that we were doing, she was trying to plan for Reach was to have like a Bible study character.
Was it the one where it's like you had to guess who the character was though?
Oh yeah, like I guess
That was cool.
Oh, maybe.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've seen that on TikTok, but I gotta find it. But that was
But I like that idea. I can put that in.
it's just just like somebody that they see themselves like, and why? Like, why do you feel like this person is you?
Okay. And
And
maybe
that might
if
steer
they
us
want
in
to
some
dive,
direction.
if they want to dive deep into it, they can bring like a verse or something and elaborate. It's up to them though, however they want to do it.
That might be fun.
Because I don't think they are interested in reading Jeremiah. Which
I'm gonna tell y'all right now.
I still think
I'm
it's okay if we
Jasper.
stick to the reading of Jeremiah, because we're all, of course, I know we're all dived in deep to it, but I don't know if our friends like it so much. So we can
I
just
feel
touch base with each other on what we're getting out of it, if that's what we decide to do.
Yeah, I think some books are, more interesting than others. I
Mm-hmm.
think Jeremiah has its some high points, but then it got some real like, okay, let me get through this, let me get through this.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a few places in there where it's like, ooh, okay, yes.
Yeah.
So it just depends on what part, like you hitting at what time. And then when you have so many monotonous
Mm-hmm.
parts back to back to back, then I think that can lose interest. And then we flew through Joshua. So it's like we did Joshua and then we jumped into Jeremiah and
Yeah,
it
we
was
didn't
like,
take a break.
yeah,
And
it's a
then,
lot.
like, do you guys think it would be, because my mom made this suggestion, do you guys think about doing Bible study like maybe bi-weekly instead of every week? Or do you guys like doing the every week?
I like doing it every week. I think it
I
helps
like doing
keep
every
me
week.
accountable. But again, I can only speak for me.
Okay.
I think maybe if you're looking at a bi-weekly subject, then maybe having a 1 week we're studying the word or a certain chapter, and then the
Mm-hmm.
following week is a more or less discussion about a certain topic, but from
Okay.
more of a biblical perspective.
Okay.
Mm.
Like maybe I don't know, but something along those lines.
Okay. I'll talk about it with Chantel and Walter and see what they think.
I was gonna say that I think I don't know how often people use the Bible app. I know that's why I asked you, but you can share with your friends on the Bible app. So I was like, I don't know if people would be up for it, but if you have the Bible app, just kind of like adding the notes and stuff like that, and you can see what other people are saying. Because we kind of assume because no one's saying anything that they're not reading.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's just either they can't get, they don't want to talk, or they can't find like a space for them to put in their thoughts.
Okay. Which Amber
so-
did mention last night. There's a app that we can use to put in the chat that will allow people to put their anonymous questions in there, because they may not feel comfortable with asking the questions that they have, or voicing their opinions on how they feel about a certain subject. So that we will probably need to look into putting that into effect. As soon as we secure the next topic, we can do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then while we
Yeah.
have you, Malika, do you want to be our face painter for the fall festival?
Face painter.
Yes, that beautiful painting that you made for my birthday.
Am I painting rainbows on kids'
I mean, you can
cheeks?
paint rainbows, pumpkins,
As
whatever
long
you
as they
want
don't
to
ask
paint.
me to paint no unicorns. I don't.
She said no unicorns.
They getting triangles. I don't know.
I can
Not
try to help
triangles.
you.
Obtuse and acute triangles.
I love it.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know.
You're
Okay.
better than I am, because I made the suggestion, shoot, use the stencil and just kick that spray can and whee!
Yeah.
Oh, that's easier. No, I like that. I like that.
I can try and find some stencils on Amazon and see what would be good ones.
Yeah, and to get the little kit thing and just dab it on there. Make it ombre.
Mm. Are they paying for face paint or face painting is free?
That's a good question. Do we want them to pay?
If they paying, they paying me.
No, Malika. The money goes to Reach.
I'm kidding.
You worse than Walter. He keep asking us to add his Cash App so he can get all the money from the sales that we have.
You charge $3, I get just $1.
She
like
said
that.
she'd get $1 if we charge $3.
$1 for me, $2 for the church.
To be fair, I don't know if you want to charge for the face painting, because when I'm thinking about kids running around, like little kids and whatnot, I don't know.
It's gonna rub off.
Yeah.
Yeah, then they come back for more. That's how you make the money.
And on top of that too though, but the face paint is like, you know, they only gonna have it on for some hours anyway, because when they go home,
Yeah.
their mama ain't
You
letting
gotta
them go in
wash
their
it off.
bed.
Yeah.
So whether it gets rubbed off there or rubbed off when they
We'll have
get
to stop
home.
the recording.
Mm-mm.